If you've been using flagship phones for a while, the idea of switching to a mid-range phone can feel a little bit jarring to say the least. But when the Pixel 7a came knocking at my door, I figured that it would be a good opportunity to test it out and see how it holds up. And after spending a week with it, I gotta say that I've been pleasantly surprised. Okay, so let's quickly talk about what you get for the price. The Pixel 7a is $599 Canadian, $499 USD, and with that price tag you get the same Google Tensor G2 chip from its Pro siblings with a similar design aesthetic, but of course because of the different price tag there are some differences. Instead of using acrylic glass back, for example, Google opted to use plastic, which is similar to the Pixel 6a. The camera bump and screen are also smaller, and combined with its matte aluminum frame, I think the phone still looks and feels great. I would argue that it's actually better because Google designed it with durability in mind. Google added a new subframe to make the phone more drop resistant this year. Combined with a decent IP67 water and dust proof rating, this little phone is tougher than you think. And honestly, the matte aluminum finishes make it better at hiding scratches and fingerprints than the glossy sides of the Pixel 7 Pro that drive me a little bit crazy. So to me, it just looks way more minimal and refined. I'm seriously in love with its smaller form factor and the fact that it's super lightweight. Now, the screen may be a topic of debate for some people, but the 6.1-inch display is pretty solid. Yes, it's not beating the top screens in flagship phones, but at this price point, it's not really trying to. And I think some of the main criticisms that the Pixel 6a received are for the most part ironed out in this model. The 60Hz refresh rate got upgraded to 90Hz, so it makes a more smooth experience overall. The display got 20% brighter, making it pretty good for indoor and outdoor use, and the speakers are surprisingly balanced too. The phone also has a moderately quick 18-watt fast charging that takes about 2 hours and wireless charging, which is a nice touch on a phone in this price range. However, the most important thing, the super slow fingerprint sensor from the Pixel 6 line, the one that drove me crazy last time, that got fixed as well, which I was so relieved to see. As much as I love carrying my Fuji X-S10 around to take pictures, having a reliable phone camera that I can just quickly pull out of my pocket is super important to me. The Pixel 7a has a dual rear camera, a 64 megapixel main and 13 megapixel wide. And sure, these cameras aren't going to be as versatile as the S23 Ultra or an iPhone 14 Pro, but compared to a standard iPhone 13 or 14, they're highly capable. The camera has been improved with a bigger modern sensor, and combined with its software, I found that the digital zoom ends up capturing enough detail. Colors are not overly saturated, and Google's exclusive features like Top Shot and Magic Eraser, they're quite handy to have as well. Here are some samples. This is a little bit more niche, but sadly there's no official macro mode in this phone. However, as I was testing it out, I found that the ultra wide does allow you to get fairly close for some nice detailed shots of plants and other small things if you're into that. This larger sensor may not be the exact same 50 megapixel model that Google is using in the Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro, but it's still a very similar sensor size. So the raw files give you lots of data, which is really nice to be able to play around with. I'll also mention that video is decently strong on the Pixel. It has very true-to-life colors that I feel like I can trust way more than, say, OnePlus or nothing. Alright, I'm taking you on a little morning walk so we can talk about the wide and selfie cameras. The wide, for the most part, I found lacking at certain points, especially considering to the main camera. And the selfie, I'm actually shooting this with the selfie camera. The audio is coming from the selfie camera as well. I find the audio being pretty good. What do you think about the overall quality? I think it's not bad, especially like I said, for a phone at this price, pretty good. Okay, so secretly, the best reason to get a Pixel phone, in my opinion, is the Google software experience. Just hands down, it's just so much nicer than anything that you can get from Samsung and OnePlus, and that makes this phone worth so much more in my eyes. Sure, the other companies may have every single feature under the sun, but I find that you don't necessarily need it a lot of the times. You won't have to worry about there being 2 contacts and 2 calculator apps. And if you use Google apps, it's just nicely integrated. You get an OS that is filled with unique animations that feel thoughtful and unified right from the lock screen to every corner of the operating system. I don't necessarily think that Material You is the best operating system ever, and there are no quirks, because there are, but I just find that it's way more user-friendly. So if you're switching from iPhone, you don't have to be battling to figure out what to do next. And a lot of features are not hidden amongst all these random things that you don't really use day to day, like with Samsung. But yeah, I think the reason why I've liked Pixels is that they look clean, but they still offer the advanced functionality that you can get on an Android, even if there isn't as much separating iOS and Android nowadays. When it comes to battery life, I got around 7 to 8 hours on screen time. That was the main average, but I plan to be using this phone for a couple of months so it can get fully optimized to my usage and I'll be able to get a true average. So definitely keep tuned for more Pixel videos. Overall, it's a big success that beats other phones in its price range and competes with others that are even more expensive. I'm not saying that it's going to take down every flagship phone out there, but maybe, just maybe, this could be the phone to tempt over another generation of iPhone users into the Pixel ecosystem, especially considering that there is a pretty interesting Pixel tablet in the horizon, and just the concept of Material You and an ecosystem where we have all of these different Google devices sounds very fun to me. I really want it to happen. But yeah, I had a lot of fun playing around with this. I think it's really nice to see a solid mid-range phone with almost no drawbacks that is worth talking about. It's more than capable for the majority of people, and the fact that it costs half the price of a flagship and you get that flagship chip, that's just icing on the cake. That said, I hate taking away my own thunder like this, but I have seen the Pixel 7 on sale for $650 Canadian, which basically makes it the same kind of like price range as the 7A. So stay savvy out there when you're shopping, I guess. Anyway, feel free to leave any questions you may have in the comments below. I'll make sure to answer them. And also, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe because that helps grow the channel. But yeah, see you next time. Bye. Now let's see if it recorded, because Brad doesn't like to record. I love recording.